I want to do my version of what's his name, Bubba from Forrest Gump.
What's your version of Bubba from Forrest Gump?
So like people come to work and be like, oh yeah, may I help you? And they're like, oh yeah, I want some chicken, and I just want to be like, what kind? I got a lot of kinds of chicken. I got barbecue chicken. I got General Tso's chicken. I got hot chicken. There's a lot of chicken. I got chicken tenders. I got regular chicken.
I got chicken balls.
Popcorn chicken. There's a whole bunch of chicken. And just see if they even realize it. Wait, is that?
And you know what would happen after you go through the whole list of 87 different types of chicken style. One person will be like, "Do you get chicken wings?" That was the first one I said. You stupid fucks. What is going on today? Welcome to the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb James. With me, as always, Spencer, the Newcastle Nasty Man Church. That's kind of closer to your actual heritage. Yeah. You seem like an Englishman.
Yeah.
Or a Scotsman.
Yeah, my grandfather on my dad's side was pretty Irish.
I said Scots. I didn't say
Scottish, Irish.
It's a different country.
But they both wear kilts, don't they?
Don't lie, you're a Welshman.
I might be a Welshman. I spend money like a Welshman.
Do they spend a lot of money?
No, I don't think they spend
any money.
Welsh being Welsh, because they say you're like a Welsh when it's kind of like a cheap, isn't it?
No, that's a Welch.
Well, yeah, but Welsh, it's close enough.
You're just making up things.
I am. I'm a writer. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's a good point. Speaking of writing, we have a topic for you. Our topic today was going to be about stealing or plagiarism. But I'm throwing an audible here because apparently we already talked about this on a previous episode. Whole episode wasn't dedicated to it, but there was a good chunk, which pretty much was all the topics I wanted to talk about because I didn't plan out the episode at all.
And anyways, we can wait a little bit longer to go back to that well. Like another 50 episodes or something, we can double back to that.
I feel like at some point we're just going to do all the episodes over again.
Yeah.
Maybe better. And also, I feel like the stealing's not going to stop anytime soon. No. So it'll be there.
Unfortunately.
There'll be more stories. Oh, today we got a magical episode. A topic neither of us should be talking about because I don't write magic stories. Maybe a little hint, but this is more like urban fantasy, I would say. Because this, from our brothers from another mutter. Gotta tell you, mutter. That turned like a fucking... I don't want to say that. I don't even know who wrote this. Let me see if it's even a dude before I say that.
I didn't say... the closest we haven't really done too many magical. If anything, we maybe done supernatural.
Right.
Would be the closest thing.
Supernatural. Yeah, definitely supernatural. Okay, this article, a sister from another mister at your pen in the pad. I like how they have the little editing sign at the top there. Peninthepad.com. And this what the fuck by motherfuck. Man, I butchered this intro. We're just going to start completely over from scratch. So anyway, you like chicken, fried chicken, popcorn chicken, chicken on a stick.
I'm surprised we don't have chicken on a stick, goddammit.
When I was in school, there was a kid, and I still say it to this day, and I don't know what it means, but he went around the lunchroom one day in like the 3rd grade, and he just kept screaming at the top of his lungs until he had to be apprehended by the faculty. He just kept screaming, "Chicken on a stick smells like fish." And he was super offended by this idea. And I don't know. I still to this day don't know what that means. I have no clue.
On your deathbed, you're going to be like, "Chicken on a stick smells like fish." Oh.
That's going to be my rosebud. That's the last words that come from my mouth. And it's going to be a big mystery that everyone has to solve. Chicken on a stick smells like fish. But it was so weird because... Like, as an adult, if somebody, even in high school, somebody said that, I would be like, oh, that's a sex thing, right?
Yeah.
But in 3rd grade, I wasn't. It's like, what the fuck are you talking? Chicken on, what does that mean? And we didn't have chicken on a stick. At best, we might have had chicken patty sandwiches.
Yeah.
There was no chicken on a stick. Anyway, getting back on the topic. from Pen and the Pad. Pen Pads. By Maria Magher? Magher? Magher. From Maria Magher. I don't like that this article doesn't... Oh, it clearly has a topic and it's underlined at the very top, and I'm just too stupid to read it because it's... I don't like the font. I don't know if you see that font. I don't care for it. It's like too light.
Yeah.
Too light, too faded, too stiff. How to write magical realism. So this is probably one that we might actually benefit from because, like you said, we've written some suspense, horror, normal, like, literary fiction type stuff, but we have never really dived into the magical realm.
Yeah.
Like heavy fantasy, I don't really read. Hair of the Dog, our last book of the month book, was magic based, but it wasn't. I would say that maybe that was magical realism or urban fantasy.
Yeah, I could see that being. I would not read in a whole bunch of urban fantasy. I could see that. I would think that'd be urban fantasy.
Yes. Well, let's see what Miss Maria has to say on the topic. Magical realism is a genre of fiction that blends elements of the extraordinary or miraculous with everyday life. It was made popular by Latin American writers in the 1940s, but it has been used by writers across cultures and time periods. I did not know that. The Latin American writer started magic. I wish she would name some authors there that we could have checked out.
I didn't know that, but getting that information brought to you, I guess, isn't that surprising because their culture always has had like a strong root within like they have what's the thing like with the
Day of the Dead
and like all those different kind of things and stuff like that.
Plus, you think of like even Aztec culture and things going as far back, they always had kind of magical elements to their culture that you think of when you think of those things. That's why most movies that are based on those are always like kind of magical or supernatural at least. Okay. Magical realism differs from fantasy novels, which create whole new worlds or create a whole new vision for the world in which we live. Instead, magical realism presents fantastical elements as if they are another aspect of our reality. You can incorporate magical realism into a short story, novella, or longer novel. What was that Will Smith movie? I think it was on Netflix.
Oh, it was like...
With,
Yeah, no, he was like a cop with an orc.
What's his name? Joel, fucking something or other. He was like he's like an orc or something, wasn't he? Like kind of a Lord of the Rings guy.
It was like directed by the guy who did Suicide Squad, I think.
Yeah, that was.
I want to say like Birthright or Birth.
No, that's not correct.
Birth something, I thought.
I don't think so. That was actually a pretty good movie.
I never got around to watching it. It was something I wanted to check out. I just didn't get the chance to.
Well, let me check real quick on the old internet.
Did you see that new movie he has coming out?
Yeah, that actually looked really good. I thought it was gonna be stupid. Gemini Man.
Yeah,
but he's like old grizzled Will Smith fights Men in Black Men in Black Will Smith.
I would say he almost looks younger than that.
He kind of looks Fresh Prince.
Yeah, he kind of looks Fresh Prince age.
Yeah, it looks quite interesting here. Bright.
Oh, Bright.
Bright. Yeah, I remember it was a real stupid name. Alright. Choose a realistic setting. Magical. By the way, when I do the
voice?
No, not the voice. When I go back and like edit these, usually I don't really cut anything for the most part. So when I do like those hard, just jump into the thing, it sounds like there was just a hard cut in there. So when I just immediately go from like whatever nonsense we're talking about to choose a realistic setting, you're just like, it's kind of jarring. But I actually don't edit those. It just sounds like that because we're just not good at talking. Yeah. We're not good at the words.
The words and the things and the saying stuff.
Look, we usually do these on the weekend when I'm off, so I got a little more energy. I worked all day. My brain's a little frazzled. It's a Wednesday. Hump day.
Hump day.
Hump day. Anyway, choose a realistic setting. Magical realism is set in the everyday world, so you should choose a setting for your story that is based on an actual location. You should not create a new world for your story. If you want to create your own town or place, it should be modeled after a real place with buildings and people that you might find elsewhere. The setting can be at any time in history. However, it should not be in the future, which should be considered a fantasy setting. I did not know there were so many rules for this.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to ever do kind of like a fantasy thing, I think it would have to be the urban fantasy. I just think if you go full board fantasy, at least for me right now, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's more than I want to do.
That's a lot of work to make something realistic and, get it to where it needs to be good.
Well, this might actually be the place to start because unlike even the urban fantasy, you're not creating, as according to this anyway, towns or city. Like, you're basing things off of reality. So I would say maybe a World War II, Hitler's Germany, and you just throw magic into events that already happened.
Even have some kind of magical story take place in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Now, even now,
I'm sure it's out there. Define a thematic event. To guide your story, you can first decide on a thematic event that will influence the plot. For example, in the short story A Very Old Man with Enormous Wings by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, a man is discovered with tattered wings. The rest of the story focuses on characters' reactions to the man and how he influences their lives. Similarly, you can choose one fantastical or extraordinary event to guide the rest of the action in your story. The main event should reflect a theme such as change or faith. This kind of gives me just the description of this genre, I suppose you could call it. It kind of reminds me of Birdman.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton movie, because that seemed like it had magical elements, but you never really knew. Like, the way they ended that movie, you weren't actually sure if he was all in the guy's head or if he really was a superhero. So that's kind of cool how you can incorporate some stuff. Create reflective happenings. Many times the miraculous or amazing things that happen in magical realism actually reflect the emotions of the characters or the theme of the story, like metaphors. The difference is that these are events and not just descriptions. For example, in Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel, the main character cooks dishes that cause those who eat them to feel what she is feeling. I like that idea. That's kind of cool. So if she is feeling amorous when she cooks, they soon begin feeling amorous as well. You can infuse your story with these types of reflective events instead of one controlling thematic event. Alright, let's just fucking side scroll here. Hi, Mindy. How you doing? Getting the dog some peanut butter.
Lucky dog.
Mindy has been smoking the stickiest of non-cannabis weed I've ever seen.
It's ridiculous.
No THC, but it smells skunky. It smells Pepe Le Pew-ish, may I say.
No one knows who I am.
Well, you don't have the kind of job where it matters if you go in smelling like a fucking grower.
Like a dirty hippie.
You dirty goddamn beatnik.
Goddamn hippies.
Now, if anybody in this room should be drinking a French, it's that lady over there.
What?
A French.
What's that?
You don't need to know.
Is it wine?
No. It's cocktail. Spencer's favorite cocktail, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Keep on walking, lady. Alright. Where was I? I was going to go on a tangent, and she came in making peanut butter for the dog. Started talking about smoking the herb. I don't know. This is a family show. 420 episode excluded. 2 episodes excluded. I like that idea because imagine... Like, you're super horny, right?
Oh, yeah. And you cook for the
Eat these brownies. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh. Or, like, here's a better idea that's not fucking perverted. You, Spencer Church, who does not like his job, and probably most of his coworkers.
Yes. Pretty accurate.
Imagine you go into work, you're getting shit on all day, you're super pissed off, you hate everything. Call your least favorite manager over. Hey, you gotta try this cookie. This is so good. And then she eats the cookie, and then all of a sudden, you just ruin everybody, like, the whole workflow.
I just ruined their whole day.
Everybody's just so pissed off. It'd be great. And then you can see, like, everyone just start to physically change and just melt down into the ball. Because we have years and years of the abuse built onto us, so we kind of got a hardened skin.
Yeah.
And thick bones. These people, they're just gonna fucking implode.
Yeah.
Like a black hole just sucked them in and spaghettied them.
And to be honest, that's what they deserve. If I ever offer them anything to eat and they take it.
Yeah, that's a dumb move.
That's what they get.
Don't eat anything Spencer gives you. For one, if he said he cooked it, definitely don't eat it.
But if I cooked it, I wouldn't even eat it.
No, that is ooh. You're gonna have a bad time.
My cooking skills don't go past the microwave.
No, I've seen street food in India that was healthier than like what you're giving out. Like it's more hygienic.
Yeah.
All right, experiment with time. Or you know what? Oh, I want to hit another point before I go on. This actually, so far, is reminding me of all those Japanese novels, the Haruki Murakami novels I've been reading. His, I would say, is magical realism because there's like magic in every single story.
Yeah.
But I never even thought that they were considered magic stories because it's these kind of themes. So maybe we do write magical realism a little bit just because some of the fantastical elements we might put into our work. I mean, this seems like it's kind of, that's the deal.
Yeah.
I always thought magical realism was just kind of like you said, urban fantasy. But we're wrong. As always, we're dead wrong.
What else is new?
We are fucking wrong. Anyway, experiment with time. Time is not always linear in magical realism. There can be great shifts in the narrative timeline. A single moment can be made to feel like 100 years, or vice versa. The story could jump around without the use of flashbacks or flash forwards. Characters do not necessarily time travel, though that can be an element of magical realism, but their stories do not have to be told on a single timeline. So get your Quentin Tarantino on, people.
Yeah.
Switch that timeline all around. Maybe fucking endgame it. Just have everything everywhere, right?
Yeah.
You know, I didn't watch the movie. I might go Saturday morning.
Ooh. That'll probably be a good time. You won't probably have a lot of people there to...
Well, it's free comic book day, too, so maybe everybody will be...
Oh, doing that, yeah.
Yes. Oh, that was it. That's the whole article. I guess we go home. 16 minutes in. 10 minutes of filler. Oh, hold on. We actually have some author info on this one. Maria Magher has been working as a professional writer since 2001. She has worked as an ESL teacher, a freshman composition teacher, and an education reporter. Writing for regional newspapers and online publications, she has written about parenting for Pampers and other websites. She has a master's degree in English and creative writing. And I do not see any Twitter information. Why don't these people put their goddamn Twitter information on these articles? I feel like that is the move to get some people to follow you.
You'd think.
I mean, that's what I did anytime I ever did freelance work.
That's what the kids use nowadays, is the Twitter, right?
Yeah, they love the old Twitter. One of our writers started a hashtag game for DPW, so I don't know if you want to jump aboard that. I did earlier. I'm not good at that stuff.
No.
I'm not good at caring about, like, the random bullshit people talk about on Twitter. Like, for instance, you follow mostly more well-known creators, but I follow a lot of indie writers and stuff, and sometimes the stuff they post is just like, hey, what's your favorite kind of socks to wear while writing? Who the fuck cares? Like, but the thing is, they have like 500 comments and 5,000 fucking retweets. And I'm like, who gives a shit though?
Well, the thing now even is, at least with me, like, I hardly find myself using Twitter that much because most of the people I followed on Twitter, I just went over and followed them on Instagram. Because, like, a lot of, like you said, like, the more famous people I follow, like...
That's where they post their stuff.
Yeah, like, artists and stuff like that. So, like, I found, like, even on Twitter, it would be a link to their Instagram. So I was like, I should just get Instagram and follow these guys on Instagram.
Twitter's cool because you get things like Stephen King or Joe Hill sharing like their personal views, if that's the kind of thing you're into. And Instagram, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can. Like Joe Rogan always does. He shares personal things, but you always have to have a picture and stuff to accompany it. Again, Instagram's another one. I like going on there and checking out like usually just famous people. Most of the normal people I don't give a shit about because they're just not posting anything interesting.
No.
And I wanted to create like an author profile on there, but it's almost like I had the problem I have with my Twitter account. I just don't feel like maintaining it all the time. Like you have to be consistent.
You know what you need to do? You just need to try to start a writing profile, but just post nothing but yoga photos. See if that gets you anything going. Because apparently that's all you need for the Instagram.
What I kind of thought about was I'll come up with a normal like handle, like a writer handle, but then I'm just gonna be immediately like picture of a skank, yoga butts, that's all I'm gonna post. And then once I get a couple million followers, well, see, that's the problem. I feel like I'm gonna make a lot of money off of that. But just say I didn't, just for shits and giggles, even just 5,000 followers. Okay, we're aiming low.
Yeah,
low hanging fruit here. As soon as I get a certain amount of followers, I'm just gonna delete all the pictures. and just flip that shit and make my regular
Yeah.
profile just Caleb and just hurry up, post a bunch of normal stuff. And then everybody, I don't remember following this guy, which I don't know if you know, but pages on Facebook do that all the time because I'll be following like a music page and then all of a sudden I'm following like fucking Backdoor Sluts 5 or something. I'm like, when did I start following Backdoor Sluts 5? But I always find I end up liking the content anyway, so I don't unfollow. but that's not the point. It's like, I know I definitely didn't like this page.
Yeah.
And I'll look through it and I'll be like, when did they change? I don't understand. Like right now I'm following Black Twitter and I definitely didn't follow Black Twitter on on Facebook. I was like, I don't remember these memes are wonderful though, so I'm going to keep it, but I just don't remember liking this. Like it wasn't something I searched out, so I don't know how that happens. But I think it's a different profile and at some point they sell it to somebody and that person just changes everything. What are you doing with that alcohol, Mindy? Sure are doing a lot of stuff. It's rubbing alcohol, so she's getting it in.
Yeah. It's not fucking around.
You gonna use a Tupperware container again? Other than her memory. It's all that fake weed.
Yeah. Turn into a beatnik.
We need to bring that term back.
Beatnik?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because hippie is not really funny anymore because hipster became the new hippie, but hipsters aren't hippies. They're just douches, right?
I feel like, yeah. It's funny. A couple years ago, me and my buddy, we were going to pick his girlfriend up from work, and like they had like her little niece. She was like maybe like 13 or 14 at the time. She was like spending the night. She was like spending time with them and stuff like that. And we were there sitting outside the restaurant that she was working, waiting for her to come out. And we got into this conversation because she didn't know the difference between hippie and hipster. She thought they were the same thing.
They're not the same thing.
They're not the same
If
thing.
anything, hipster is kind of the evolution of a beatnik. Because beatniks, I feel like, were kind of the counterculture, want to be cool, too cool for school guys. And the hippies were just I want to smoke and have sex and have, just be free. Yeah. But the beatniks were more hipsters of the day.
But depending on the hipster, they do just very similar. I think that's what got her confused was the wardrobe. And not,
the modern hippie hipster wardrobe.
Yeah, and not the quote-unquote philosophy of the two separate things.
Well, I'm going to give you a little advice. You could tell your friend. This is how you can tell the difference. This is how you spot the difference between a hipster and a hippie. One, most obvious, the smell.
Yes.
The smell, way different. Two, the manicured nature of the beard.
Yep.
If it's a scraggly shit beard, hippie.
Yeah.
Way too manicured fucking,
twirling mustache?
Yeah, that's a hipster. Man bun, hipster. Long hair, hippie. Especially balding on top, even better.
Yes.
Hippie. Flannel, oh, that's hipster.
Yeah.
I mean, which basically a hipster is just the lumberjack that doesn't do the work and is not nearly as man. It's like if you had like the manliest lumberjack, but then it turned out he was just like a little Nancy. He didn't do any lumberjacking. He
jacked no lumber.
He didn't jack any lumber. I do see. Here's something that we don't talk about in this country. I feel like this is the big hot topic that maybe we should bring up.
Okay.
Canadians.
Yes.
Why can't they start calling out for cultural appropriation? Because we stole their whole lumberjacking shit with these hipsters now. Because think of it, Canadians were the lumberjacks.
I thought you were gonna go with being the really like super nice and polite. I was gonna be like, that's not.
We're not jacking that at all.
We haven't done that at all.
If anything, we did the opposite. We're actually making Canadians meaner.
I say because the Canadians are so nice that they don't care that we just jacked all their lumber.
See, that's it. Canadians didn't cause any problems with anybody, and then we just jacked all their stuff. Maple syrup, hockey. Like hockey's kind of becoming popular. I don't know what the fuck else Canadians do. They eat those really thick pieces of ham they call bacon. That's not bacon. That's a piece of ham. That is a whole fucking ham ass. That is not a piece of bacon. Like when I went to Canada, I got bacon for breakfast. And I was so disappointed. I was like, oh, they fucked up my order, man. They just gave me this big slap of ham. I don't want this. And they're like, that's bacon, eh? I was like, oh. And when I was in Toronto, there was a lot of French people there.
Yeah, but it's like British Columbia and all that.
Yeah, well, British Columbia... is British Columbia a lot of French people?
Well,
Ontario... sorry to the fucking 3 Canadians that listen. I forget... Like, Montreal, I think, is super French, right? There's, like, one part of Canada... who are like really French and they dislike you if you don't want to speak French, which is probably like Ottawa or I don't fucking know. I don't go to Canada because it's cold. Like I don't like the cold. And also now you have to have a passport.
Yeah.
Back when I went to Canada, you didn't have to have a passport.
I didn't even get to go to Canada.
Well, you suck.
I do.
You probably got to go to like Hershey or something.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to Canada. I didn't get to go to SeaWorld. I didn't get to do any of that.
Did you get to go to DC?
We went to DC.
That wasn't a good trip
No.
because there was just so many bums.
Yeah.
No, Toronto, that was the trip.
You know what I remember from DC? I remember seeing some kind of like really shitty play, and I remember buying fake Oakleys off the
I did the same exact thing. I had fucking dumb fake Oakleys, and they were
I knew they were fake.
"Oh yeah," but you're like, "Dude, they're only $10."
I know they're fake, but
DeMario was so upset because for a whole year I just bragged about how awesome Canada was and all the shit we did and like all the illegal shit we got to do because we were just like going to places that clearly we were like too young to go to, but they didn't give a shit. Well, he's in your grade, one year below us. And he was just like, yeah, I'm going to go to Canada. And they're like, we're going to Hershey. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck's in Hershey? Who wants to go to Hershey? Even the name Hershey.
I didn't even go. I just took school off for like those 3 or 4 days. I didn't go.
Yeah, that was probably a good idea.
I just slept in.
Should we whip this back around to magic?
Yeah, let's do that real quick.
You think we should maybe write like a magic flash fiction or something for the site? Realistic magic story?
Or just a normal, if you want to even go into more of the fancy. I think
if you want to test your hand in fantasy, we could.
I'd maybe go urban first, get a feel for it, and then... Because like I said, I think my skill set is more equipped for the urban fantasy kind of setting than full-blown, like, Lord of the Rings.
Right. Well, yeah, that's too much. But if we do, like, say, the magical realism, all you have to do is, say, write a short story or flash fiction and just have one magical element. Say, I don't know, you live in a fucking house, like a lonely divorced wife or something lives in a house, and if she goes to the refrigerator at 2 a.m., it transports her to a fucking new world or something.
Well, I mean, even, like, just think about it, like, you get a lot of that kind of stuff in, like, with the comic literature, like, you got characters like Constantine.
Yeah.
And stuff like that who deal with different... Now, granted, that
might be a little bit more harder than magic realism.
Yeah, because it deals more with, like, demons normally and stuff like that, but he uses magic to fight and go against these, like, demons and stuff like that, so... I'd say it'd kind of fall into that. Maybe like a horror magic.
I'd be down for that.
Horror magic horror. Magic horror fantasy urban fantasy magic.
You're just saying words.
Yeah,
you're just saying fucking words.
I'm saying things until you interrupt me.
I think realistic horror magic story would be right there up our alley. What would you be your magic element? We could use your cannibal story just as an example. You got a butcher, kill some people. Well, what if the people that he kills and he feeds them all of a sudden, like that one idea that we read earlier, they can, maybe they get the homeless guy's memory.
Yeah.
That would be a twist. I'm not saying you have to do that in your story, but just saying like something like that. A cannibal who eats his victims and gains their knowledge. Yeah, we should probably test that out. I think our fiction would definitely improve if we added some magical elements because it wouldn't be as boring.
Yeah.
That's what people like. I would say like American Gods it was a little more fantasy than, magic realism, but it had definitely magic elements.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
I
mean, even like we always talk about him, but like Stephen King, there's always...
Well, see, that's the thing. Are you confusing magic with super,
Oh no, like the Dark Tower series has like a lot
magic.
And different... Now, granted, you're also going, like, there's different realms and world. Like, that really has a little bit of everything thrown into it.
I'd be interested to see where the line for magic and supernatural is. Like, where once you cross it, you're into just magic realm.
That probably just depends on the story that you're writing.
I suppose it does.
And you could always have a magic story that has, like, a horror scene in it, but it does, like, the whole thing doesn't have to be, horror-ish. Like, it doesn't...
Right. I'm gonna start that House of Leaves this month, so I'm interested to see if that has magic in it. Trying to think have we decided what we want to do for the next book of the month book?
I don't believe we talked about it.
I was gonna put something out today, but I remember you saying maybe read Paulie Cooley's Into the Black series, like the first one.
We were kicking that around.
Maybe do that in late June. Make it for the book of July, perhaps.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I have some stuff I'm gonna be reading before that. It's gonna take a while.
What are you reading?
Oh, I was gonna start that House of Leaves. That's
okay.
You ever seen how fat that book was?
Oh, is that thing you showed me?
Yeah, with all the fucking crazy stuff in it.
I think if you read that book from start to finish, you will open up a wormhole to somewhere.
I'm hoping so.
Because just the way that you need to when you get started into that'll help you. You tweet out some pictures and Instagram some just of the pages of something that you've read that took you 15 minutes to read on that page.
I feel like that if I read that book and it opens up a wormhole, it's just gonna take me to like fucking Greenbow, Alabama, or somewhere I don't want to go. Like some fucking like Little Rock, Arkansas.
You'd have to read the whole thing again to get back.
Yeah, but like, oh god, like it's gonna send me to fucking Cincinnati or something, like Buffalo. Like, oh man,
nobody wants to go to Buffalo. If Antonio Brown showed us anything, it's nobody wants to go to Buffalo.
Nobody wants to go to Buffalo.
People rather go to Oakland.
It's like you get all the shitty weather of New York City, but you don't get any of the cool stuff.
No.
Like, I've been through Buffalo, and I just remember I was like, hey, I think that was a barn-looking restaurant. And then I was just like, that was it. I don't remember anything else from the trip. What else have we got going on? When are we going to go to Philly? People keep going to, like, what, Christina just drove to Philly for a day? That's a 4-hour drive.
I didn't say that would be the thing with Philly. Would you want to drive to Philly or would you want to fly to Philly?
Well, I've been in the Philadelphia airport, and I didn't like that at all.
You've been talking about hating that for a long time.
The Pittsburgh airport was so nice, and this was the first time I ever flew, so I never even... Like, I've been in... No, I'd never been into, like, a real airport before that, so I was just assuming, like, that's what airports look like. Then we got to Philly for the layover, and I was like, oh... They can look like this too. And I look out the window. I was like, yeah, this fits that city.
See, I've never flown before. I've never flown anywhere. I've been to airports before, but me myself haven't ever flown.
Have you ever been to like a dentist who didn't change the decor since like the mid '80s? No. That's like Philadelphia airport. Oh, yeah? The same scent too. Like they didn't wash it. Like that faded weird plaid. I don't like it. No offense, Philadelphia, because I didn't explore your city, but I didn't like your airport, and I didn't like any of the people I met there, and I stupidly had a Steelers hoodie I got from work on. I don't even fucking watch football anymore, but it was a comfortable hoodie. It was not too hot, not too cold, so I was like, I'll just wear this, and I didn't even think
just wanted to be comfortable on the flight.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about the fact that we were doing a layover in Philadelphia, so we get on the airport and stuff, get off, and all of a sudden I'm getting these looks. I'm like, what the fuck? And then, of course, when we're getting back on, it was like an hour layover, and when we're getting on the flight again, the people that work there, the stewardess, everyone's like, they always had some stupid shit to say. And I was like, lady, I don't give a fuck. I'll give you this and you can burn it. I don't care.
And it's not even like you're in two different, sections of the league. It's not like you were wearing like a Cowboys jersey or something. Somebody that they play regularly twice a year, that I could give you giving you a shitty look for.
It's so stupid. It's the same fucking state. There's like, boo, Pittsburgh. It's like, you're 4 hours away. Boo you. You got the same shitty weather we do. Like, shut up. It fucking stinks. Everyone was talking about Philly steak fucking cheese hoagies. And by the way, I like almost every kind of food in the world. I hate Philly steak and cheese hoagies or whatever. Philly cheesesteak. Like, I just don't like it.
See, now, you started this by asking when we're going to go to Philly, and it just seems like you really don't want to go
I don't want to go at all, but I feel like we should, like, that's the major city in Pennsylvania that we haven't been to, because, well, I've never been to Harrisburg, but is that a big city? I don't know. We went to Altoona, I've been to Erie, I've been fucking everywhere else. I feel like we got to go to Philly once.
I mean, I'm down for it, I guess,
And the fucking air was, like, gray. It was sunny, but everything was gray. And the water looked brown. And I never seen...
Well, they say it's always sunny in Philadelphia.
It's not. Coming from somebody who's been, living in the Pittsburgh area for my whole life, I thought I was used to just fucking, like, retarded-looking white people. And I use that word as the most literal translation because these people are retarded of intellect. Like, their intellect is not mentally challenged. Like, they're just stupid.
Dumb. They're just
Yeah.
dumb.
Like, that's the kind of people I'm used to dealing with. A bunch of mouth breathers. And then I went to Philadelphia and I was like, man, people in Pittsburgh sure are smart. Like, and I wasn't even there long. We didn't even talk to that many people. Didn't like it. Never will. Probably never want to go there again. But we should do a con there.
I've seen, like, they're supposed to have, like, good cons in that city. Like, they normally have a Wizard Ward there. I think there was, like, like, the Greater Philadelphia con. Like, I've seen different, supposed to look like decent cons anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to go there. I'm 100% sure everybody that we meet is not going to be stupid. It's just that general area. I mean, if we could fucking go to Cleveland twice.
Yeah, I didn't.
Everyone was nice there.
Yeah.
It surprised me because everything I ever heard about Cleveland sucked. And when you brought up you were Pittsburgh, they're just like, oh, cool. Like, I thought they would hate you because you're from Pittsburgh. But
even remember whenever I was, I got to, the second year, whenever, Victor Danvers Jr.
did a stupid Ohio chant.
Well, he did the, him and that one other guy, they were doing, like, a team-up thing, and, like, there was a question, and each question they brought somebody up.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to come up for that one, and I mentioned how I was from, I wasn't from around here, I was from Pittsburgh, and, no, like, boos or, like, no fuck yous or anything like that.
See, they gave me shit in Philadelphia, and that was, like, the airport staff. So I'm just thinking, is the general Philadelphian just a douche? But everything from sports and TV and movies have told me that they are. Not, I'm sure. Well, you know what? I'm not trying to judge you, Philadelphia, but I seen a travel show. It wasn't Guy Fieri, but it was one of those fucking things, going and eating stuff and around the country. And I think it might have been Anthony Bourdain actually, and it was in Philly. Everyone there was a fucking douche. Like, every restaurant he went to, they took pride in being assholes.
Well, and this is me being to neither place. I always kind of looked at Philly as like a lower class Boston.
Dude, I 100% see that because I've never been to Boston either. Don't hear good things. A lot of I think it's just the same quality. You get too many white people in a place with shitty weather, and the city's too big. You just get that weird mix, and it just creates douchebags, I think. Because what big city do you know that people aren't douchebags? Because there's a lot of douchebags in Pittsburgh. Yeah. And that's not even that big of a city. I've never been to Chicago. I never really had an interest. I don't want to go there. So we'll go to Chicago Con next, too.
Yeah.
That's a longer drive.
The big one there is that C2E2. Like, that's a big...
Yeah, that's a big...
that one, I don't see us being able... Quite at the point of being able to get press passes for that one. I mean, we could always try, but...
I feel like... Chicago's one of the few places in the country where I don't think I would feel safe. Not that I feel safe anywhere, but I'm just saying, like, out of all the places where you're going to get robbed or shot, Chicago's definitely up there. I don't know where they hold the event, but, you always hear about, like, the south side of Chicago is just constant crime.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would want to actually walk, like we did in Cleveland, just walk around the city. I don't know if I would be comfortable. No. Then again, Cleveland apparently has a pretty bad, violent rap, too, and I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. But Cleveland.
Well, we were in one very like small section of Cleveland though too.
I thought that was all of Cleveland. I mean, the city didn't seem very big for we were in the hub of it, right? That was like the stadium and everything else.
Yeah, I guess we were over at the stadium.
Yeah, because we drive through Cleveland. Like, we went the other way out. Everything it just like ended. That was the end of Cleveland. We're to somewhere else.
Maybe I didn't realize that was.
I don't think it's that big of a. It's like I think it might be smaller than Pittsburgh. I'm not sure. Or like more spread out, but only like there's only 3 big buildings. It's gotta be small. Yeah, well, there's 3 big buildings, and there were our hotel and like one across the street. Sorry, Cleveland, you just ain't cutting it.
But I mean,
yeah, all right, time.
Yeah, I did not. I had a good time there, both trips. Other than trying to find breakfast.
Dude, that fucking sucked. I did not know Cleveland didn't have breakfast on a Sunday. How come our hotel that was so expensive didn't have complimentary breakfast?
Yeah,
continental breakfast.
The one we went to the first year had a breakfast, and it was good. It was good breakfast. That was good food.
It was quality. I don't even remember what was the Drury.
Yeah, the Drury.
Drury, Drury, Drury.
That was a nice hotel.
Yeah, I like that one. I just wanted one that was connected to the event so we didn't have to leave all the time.
Yeah.
Go walking through the rainy... Because the fucking March in Cleveland's not a good time to go.
It's like March in Pittsburgh. It's shitty.
It is quite shitastic. I wish Erie had a con that we can go to.
I remember one year whenever we went to the Altoona Con, I saw an ad for an Erie Con. I don't know if it's
I don't think it was that big though.
No, it was probably like a smaller.
Yeah, I'm not driving a 3.5 hours away to go to something, like a little rinky-dink local con. I want some big, fat, juicy con.
Altoona, though, is kind of, it's on the rinkier side.
Yeah, but it's two floors.
Yeah, I guess.
It's it's the only sci-fi con, too, around.
Yeah. I mean, that's sci-fi name.
I think what we're going to have to do here in the next year, maybe not this coming year, we've got cons booked, but maybe the following year, actually start flying to, like...
Yeah, I was going to say, how
I'll have to see how much tickets, but yeah. I mean, it just depends how much it costs.
Because you figure at least Wizard World-wise, we should be able to get into any,
Yeah, we can do any of those.
You would think.
You alright? She's like
I think she was trying some of that CBD.
You been doing some of that CBD? You feeling relaxed and your joints not inflamed? I don't like it. I don't like you being nice and not cranky.
Not used to it.
Not used to it?
I gave myself a pedicure.
Oh, that's nice.
Is Caleb next?
I will do his toes.
You wanna get him?
You touch those?
Yeah, I did this.
Do you see the socks I'm wearing?
I would just assume that like any formal cut guy feet and they're just half smushed and toes are tied together like bone knots.
I have her pull my toes and they fucking pop like the fucking, I don't know, like the sound of like a backing up.
Oh, I think what those like the potty streamers at New Year's when you...
Exactly.
It's like a fucking busted up muffler just backfiring.
How's that feel?
It feels amazing. I literally, it cracks and it just shoots up my body and I get like this sense of euphoria that just shoots through me.
This is better than coming.
It is better than coming. And you know why? Because I spent so many years just on my feet with improper shoes, walking on hard concrete.
Still doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you might upgrade your quality of shoe, but...
I got better shoes and I'm not pushing fucking buggies anymore.
Just water now.
Water. Beer. But you know what? That's not nearly as grueling. I'd rather carry 500 pounds of fucking alcoholic beverages up 50 flights of stairs than just go back to Walmart for like a week and just do that. Like, that was terrible. That literally broke every part of my back.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we don't got the scoliosis. But anyway, let's probably end this one. So you got a fucking another podcast to do since you're Mr. fucking high-end roller now, just shooting around town doing podcasts all willy-nilly.
All willy-nilly.
Yeah. Yeah, you're doing the Pittsburgh Comics podcast. Shoot on over there, folks, if you want some great comic talk. I don't go to that one because I am not allowed.
You're allowed.
I didn't wear pants the last time. No. Nah, maybe one of these days I'll go. Maybe when I actually seen the movies and stuff you guys talk about before you talk about it. That's the problem. You guys are right up to date on everything, and I'm like always a week to a month late.
Yeah. We gotta get on it, man.
I fucking got stuff to do.
It's part of the lifestyle.
Well, you know what? You take over editing duties for a fucking month, and I'll...
How bad do you want the quality to go down?
Yeah, let's at least get some fans first, so then we'll worry about the quality. All right, you people have a lovely day. We will see you next time.
Bye.